this at all. Most people who come in to get a tattoo are at least a little excited, even if they are nervous, but not him. Okay, well, getting a tattoo is a big deal. Do you have any idea what you want and where? I asked, directing the question to the sprite. He glanced nervously at the other man, who rolled his eyes. Go ahead. Tell him what you want. A million responses flashed across his face, and I was pretty sure either fuck you or get the hell out of here was right on the tip of his tongue, when the asshole growled at him. Simon, tell him. Simon. Somehow that made sense. He looked like a Simon. No picture, he said, barely above a whisper. Just the words, Daddy's boy, right here. He turned to the side and reached around to the small of his back, motioning to the area where he wanted the tattoo. Fuck me if this asshole was a daddy. But it wasn't my place to judge, although my heart hurt for the boy who so obviously didn't want to go through with this. Okay, Simon, I said gently. I didn't have a client scheduled, and I had time to do the tattoo right now, but there was no way in hell I was doing this without him having time to think about it. I need you to check out my book of fonts here and pick one out. I reached under the counter and pulled the book out, pushing it over to him, but the asshole grabbed it. I'll pick. After all, it's not like you'll be the one looking at it. The image of this asshole in a position to see any part of this sweet boy's body, much less his lower back, was nauseating. Peter, he started. I said I'd pick, he growled. He flipped open the book, and after looking at a few pages, he pointed at an ugly, blocky font that didn't belong anywhere on Sweet Simon. This one. Not that it mattered. Like I said, I wasn't doing it until the sprite had time to think about it, and I might be wrong, but something told me that was all he needed, just a chance to find a way out. I couldn't simply send them on their way, though. There were way too many shops in the area that would be happy to take a walk in. Great. I opened my appointment book. I can get you in on the 20th. Relief flashed across Simon's face, but the asshole was less than thrilled. You can't just do it now? Sorry, a tattoo of this size takes long enough that we need to make an appointment. Fine, the asshole grumbled. We'll be back on the 20th. They turned and headed towards the door, and I watched them go. That was the last time I'd see them together in my shop. As I predicted, the 20th came, and they didn't show. Chapter 1. Simon. I got home and collapsed on my sofa. Today had been the third long day in a row, and I was beat. At work, I was on what they called the Meadowview plan, which was a stupid name for it. But basically, what it meant was I worked 12-hour shifts at Meadowview Hospital, so I worked 36 hours a week, and I got paid for 40. Not that I ever actually left on time. It seemed like all my 12-hour days turned into 14 by the time I got out of there, and today had been no different. My schedule rotated, and today had been the third day of what had been a brutal week. I'd considered asking to go on a normal schedule more than once, but this way gave me 3 days off in a row for some weeks and 4 days for others, so that made it worth it. And it wasn't like I had anything to do with my time besides work anyway. I was trying to decide if I wanted to close my eyes and go to sleep here, crawl to my bed and die, or actually go to the trouble of finding something to eat. I knew I'd regret it if I didn't eat, but right now that seemed like way too much work. I was leaning towards closing my eyes and at least grabbing a nap when my phone buzzed in my pocket. I sighed and pulled it out to see a text from my friend Ben. Ben. We're going to Big O's tonight. Are you coming? Me. Not tonight. I just got off work. I'm beat. Okay. Want to go shopping tomorrow, though? What kind of shopping? I need supplies for the town. Okay. Hobby shop it is then. I'm in. Swing by and pick me up. Ben had an electric train that had been his late father's, and he was constructing a replica of a town for the train. Not surprisingly, if you knew Ben, what started out as a place to display his father's trains had grown into a full town, complete with all kinds of buildings and